I'm Seth, and you're tuned into the Free Game Podcast.
What's going on, FGP members? We're back for Season 2, Episode 2. I'm your co-host, Seth.
I'm your co-host, Josique.
Man, oh man, what a weekend we had. Great weekend of college basketball. Got some great golf that came on this past weekend. Got the Masters coming
starting,
up.
Yeah.
It's a great time
they start
for sports.
Today, tomorrow?
Thursday. They have the, I guess it's like some historic par 3. They always play with like the families that go out there and everything tomorrow.
Word.
The main golf starts on Thursday, so looking forward to it.
Man, before we get into the main episode, man, make sure y'all remember to like this video and subscribe to the page. You know, show us a little love, get our subscribers up on YouTube or whatnot. You know, the typical normal stuff. We be forgetting to say that a lot of the times, bro. So I had to make sure,
make sure we
gotta remember to say that beginning and end of the video.
Beginning, and we drop our all our links to our stuff at the end of the video and the little cut screen at the end. So if you stick around that long, you'll see it.
Instagram, TikTok, X, all that stuff. Linktree. The Linktree will be there.
The Linktree will be there.
Let's get into what happened this weekend, bro. It was packed. There's a lot of action.
Great weekend. Obviously, I feel like only right to start with the women's game.
Ladies first.
Didn't get it done, but we're not here to talk about Caitlin since she lost. We're here to talk about South Carolina women's.
I'll say congratulations, South Carolina. Shout out to the Gamecocks.
What? 37-0, I believe.
39-0.
39-0, 108-3 in the last 3 seasons. I mean,
108-3, bro.
In the last 3 seasons.
That's crazy. And that's Dawn Staley's 3rd championship, right?
Yep. I think she won 2017, 2022, and now this year.
Man, that's crazy. I mean, going back to, obviously we want to get into the championship game, but, you know, the Final Four was on Friday where they faced NC State. I don't think they really struggled with NC State much. I mean, it was like...
It was a close game, and then they ran
up until the 4th,
ended up winning by 20.
Yeah, so it was...
Special run at the end of the game. They're kind of similar to UConn. Like, the middle of the second half, they go on these, strong runs, and teams never recover from it.
Yeah, it's hard to... Especially when a team is good defensively, like UConn and South Carolina. It's hard to come back from that. But
it was. I mean, the championship game was really entertaining. Iowa came out super hot.
Facts,
had
bro.
18 in the first quarter, which was the most ever in a championship quarter. So.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. When she dropped the 18, Iowa was up I think 2 or 4 at the end of the first. I thought to myself, I was sitting there watching my family. I thought to myself, I was like, dang, bro, South Carolina's finna win because it took her dropping 18 in the quarter and they're only up 4. I don't know, bro. I felt like over the next 3 quarters, Caitlin would have to put up 18 to 20 each quarter in order for them to stay into the game.
The next quarter, so that did not work out.
And they were down 2 at half or something like that. Yep. So
down at halftime.
Yeah, once they got down at half, especially, I was
they kept it close in the second half in the fourth quarter. I thought a couple times South Carolina was gonna pull away, and then Caitlin Clark would hit a 3 or. Martin,
I can't remember the other.
Martin. She would hit a shot. So
yeah, no, they definitely kept it entertaining. Like I said, I mean, I watched the whole game.
A lot of people watch, man. 18.7 million viewers.
That's the most watched game since 2019, or one of the most watched games since 2019.
It was the most watched women's tournament game ever. Yeah, and then the most watched women's game since 1992, I believe.
Dang.
So
I'm pretty sure I saw something where I think it was the most watched NCAA basketball games since the 2019 championship between Virginia and Texas Tech.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's insane, bro.
Great things going on for women's basketball. Obviously, you got the WNBA draft in a week, dude.
It's in a week?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know it was a week.
Their season starts May 14th. So their season starts in a month.
Bro, what?
And the draft's in a week.
So you telling me, okay, let's say hypothetically, Caitlin's a senior. Oh, she's a senior.
Yeah.
So she graduates on early May, and then her season starts
May 14th. Yeah, she'll be practicing and everything.
That's kind of crazy. That's a long, if you think about it, bro. After playing a whole college season, then going straight to the WNBA season, that's basically a extended season for
pretty much playing an NBA season because I think it's 30 something WNBA games. They just play probably 35, 36 college games. So. Right around NBA season length now.
Man, shout out to them. I know it's that quick of a turnaround, bro. Yeah. Shout out to the girls who be getting drafted, playing, and then getting drafted, and then playing again. That's cool.
Why they have to make their decision so fast too. If they're coming back to college, Angela made her decision in 2 days because if she wanted to go, she had to get ready quick.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
but I mean, on the other hand, the other Final Four game between UConn and Iowa, that was a pretty good game too. Obviously, I think we both had Iowa coming out, but. Yeah. Paige and them UConn girls put on a little show.
What do you think of the screen? What do you think of the screen?
Bro.
Illegal? Not illegal?
Oh my goodness. Me personally, bro,
This is a football player too, so he leans more to the physical side.
I do like the physical side, and honestly, like, I was low key kind of rooting for UConn just because like I would want to see UConn in both championships, and like Paige she's tough, but. Bro, it was illegal. I'm sorry. Like at first, when it first happened, I first watched it. I was like, "Damn, that's a bad call. Like you can't, like it wasn't moving." And then they showed the replay. Girl was literally like sliding, and her elbows were out too, like pretty far. So like it was just. I understand some people say like in that situation you can't make the call because of like how iffy or 50-50 they are those calls, but like.
But I mean, it's also like in that situation, you can't not make the call and then make a team lose.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like dude, like I mean, and people
can't say like you can't make that call. If it's like, all right, tie game, and like it may be like a slight call you're not sure about, that's one thing. If it's gonna like make a team win the game though, that's completely different.
Yeah, and I mean, throughout the game there were a lot of questionable calls that the refs either made or didn't make, which made that last screen look a lot worse than it actually did. Like for instance, they had that out of bounds play where they called Iowa, or they called Iowa ball, and it was clearly out on Iowa. Like they called Iowa ball. Yeah. So like it was just like certain plays that made people think like, oh, they're cheating to get Caitlin Clark in the championship game, blah blah blah, whatever, cool. But like I mean, based on that call specifically, that screen, it was illegal. I'm sorry. Like my mom asked me, she was like, what do you think about that call? I was like, should have set a better screen. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. That's just like I use the example of the Super Bowl with the Chiefs and the Eagles, where James Bradbury got called for holding on that one play.
It was a slight hold.
It was a slight hold, but at the end of the day, it was a hold. And it's unfortunate that the call was made, but like, I mean, you should have played better defense.
I also feel like if the girl didn't hit the ground, it wouldn't have got called.
Yeah,
so that played a role in it. She sold it a little bit too, because I know the screen was like a tough screen, but you didn't need to hit the ground.
I mean, What's the girl from UConn who set the screen, bro?
She's supposed to be a top 5 pick.
Bro, I'm saying like she's like she's a strong girl, bro. So
like
her bumping into that little white girl like that, I don't think she might not have flopped much, bro. She might have hit that ground pretty hard, bro.
I guess it's possible.
She might have hit it pretty hard,
but a few South Carolina stats before we move on. They were first in blocks and rebounds this year, third in points per game, third in 3-point percentage, fourth in 2-point percentage, and they lost 6 players from their team last year to the WNBA. So like. To rebuild and get back here was really special for them. So shout out South Carolina. And shout out Dawn.
Bro, they got old players and they got some young players too. He was hooping.
Yeah, they got 2 freshmen off the bench.
Yeah, Tessa and I can't remember the other girl's name, but like they gonna be solid, bro.
Flo or whatever.
Yeah, they gonna be a good team again next year.
Nah, they're gonna be a really good team. And also shout out Caitlin Clark. Finished her career as the all-time leader in points for men's or women's D1 basketball. So. That's
kudos to Caitlin. And she broke so many records, like threes in the season, threes in the career,
she for like over points. 500 career threes.
Yeah, like Caitlin. People say that like, how do you feel about people who are like, she needs a championship to be considered one of the greatest women's college basketball players?
I mean, if that's what you want to hold over her head, okay. But like individually, she did everything that she could. Her team really wasn't all that good. So the fact that she got them to back-to-back championships is still pretty special.
I agree 100%. Couldn't have said it better myself, man.
You're not. Moving on to the men's side, though. Had a great game last night between Purdue Boilermakers and Zach Edey. And obviously Tristan Newton was Big Donovan Clegan, Stephon Castle, and the UConn Huskies.
Yeah, bro.
Man, UConn is different. That's all I got to say right now. UConn is different.
I'm not going to lie. So, like, when the game first started off, I was like, okay, like, Purdue might be able to like compete like for the full 40 minutes of the game or whatever. Like
Zach Edey came out on some Hakeem Olajuwon.
Bro, hook at the hook. I'm like, bro, like I understand. This is the back-to-back National Player of the Year. Like 7'4", real dominant inside. But like the games that I've watched Edey play, I haven't seen him have a game at least as efficient as he was, at least starting last night. Other than the game he dropped like.
Tennessee game, he had like 40 and 16.
So I'm saying he had like 40 and like, the Tennessee game was crazy.
On a top 10 draft pick, so
I'm saying, like, he did his thing for sure. I'll say, watching the game, though, it was like I told you before we even started this episode, like, once UConn was down at half, like 6 or something like that, not UConn, sorry, Purdue. Once they were down 6 at half, I thought to myself, like, bro, this game is over. Like, not because, like, I think they could come back, but it's just hard, like, when you have to play through a big man who isn't like a shooting threat or like doesn't have like the skill set of like a Embiid or like a Jokic, some type thing, or even like Wemby, like. When you have to play through them to come back from behind, it's just hard, especially when you go up against a team that's so good defensively like UConn, who also can score at will. So
I mean, yeah, you gotta beat threes to beat UConn. Last time UConn lost was to Creighton, and that was their only loss in 2024. They lost twice in the 2023 calendar year. And in that game with Creighton hit 14 threes. So I mean, if you're not hitting threes, you really got no chance of beating them. And Purdue did not hit enough threes last night to get the job done. That's just simple as that.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I watched more of the girls' game than I did the men's game. Like, I watched the first half.
I think the time of the game also affected that too. Like, why are we starting at 9:20 on a Monday, dude?
Like, bro, I was looking at my phone. I'm thinking like
Sunday. It's like, all right, I'm chilling.
I'm thinking like dinner, like when they get dinner and everything. I saw that the game started at 9:20. I was like, why are we starting at 8? Like, the Super Bowl is at 6:40. Like,
yeah, like they were.
Why are you starting at 9:20, bro? That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand they're on the West Coast and everything, so for them it was a little earlier. But like, everybody else in the U.S., bro, like, come on. Like, that was way too late. Yeah, but shout out to UConn, though.
No, shout out to UConn. I mean, this was a really special run for them. They have to be... I'm going to ask you where you rank them in terms of all-time teams, or these teams that you remember over the most recent years. But, I mean, they went 37-3 this year, lost 3 games. Kansas, Seton Hall, who won the NIT, and Creighton. First back-to-back national championship team since 07 Gators. And that team was loaded. They had Al Horford, Joakim Noah, Corey Brewer, Chandler Parsons. I think they had 1 or 2 other NBA players.
And that's their 6th national championship in UConn's history.
Since 1996.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like their third. I think they're tied with UNC for like third most. It's like UCLA with like 11. I think Kentucky has 8. I want to say, and then UConn and Carolina both have 6 now, and then Duke's right there at 5.
Something like that. They have 5 players average double digits on this team, and one of the most impressive things to me was they had 1 top 30 recruit on the whole team coming out of high school.
Really?
And that's Stephon Castle. He's the only top 30 recruit on the team.
Dang.
And their 3 leading scorers weren't even ranked.
And they went back. They went back to back.
Back to back.
Dang. They didn't lose any players last year, did they? Everybody came back.
They lost, I think, 4 or 5 players to them.
Really?
Yeah. Sanogo, Hawkins is on the Pelicans. Jackson's on the Bucks now. And maybe like 1 or 2 other players too.
Dang. So, but they like returned a decent amount too, right?
Yeah, they returned 2 starters, and then a lot of other people. Like Clegan was there last year coming off the bench. So
dang, bro.
They brought back some people for sure.
As far as like ranking them, like with college teams, at least in my memory, I mean they have to be considered like. And they're definitely considered top 10. You could argue top 5 in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I put them up there with the Villanova team that had like Brunson, Bridges, and all of them. Put them up there with Carolina's teams throughout those years.
Facts.
I think you really got to pay a lot of homage to Jalil Okafor's Duke
team. Duke, that definitely that Duke team. They had Jalil,
Anthony Davis, Kentucky team. They're up there.
They're definitely up there. I wouldn't. If they faced that Kentucky team, like it'd be a good game in my opinion with AD and Devin Booker and all them. Like
AD was not on the team with Devin Booker.
Sorry, Cat and Devin Booker.
Okay, yeah. That Kentucky team, they let me down, bro. They were undefeated the whole year and didn't get the job done.
They sold, but
they sold. The one with Anthony Davis, it was Anthony Davis, MKG, as you know, they went 1 and 2 in that draft. They had Terrence Jones on that team, a few other people, but no one like crazy stuff. Anthony Davis had like more blocks than like 200 Division I teams that year.
That's insane,
by himself. So
that's insane.
He was on a different level.
Honestly, but yeah, like going back to the original question, like I'd have to put him like somewhere in the top 5. Because especially going back to back, like back to back is hard, bro. Like in any sport, I don't care if it's the NFL
single elimination tournament back to back, and you didn't. None of your games were decided by single digits. All their games in the last 2 tournaments were double-digit wins.
That's ridiculous. Isn't it kind of wild how we had back-to-back NFL champion, back-to-back NCAA champion? We didn't have NFL or NCAA football, but we could potentially have a back-to-back NBA champion. The Nuggets are getting hot.
What y'all doing?
But I mean, Jamal Murray, I think he's coming off an injury or something like that. So,
yeah, he's on a minute restriction. But we'll get into NBA in a little bit. Keeping it on college one last second. Some huge news broke a few days ago. Coach Calipari is leaving Kentucky and going to Arkansas. I mean, this caught me by surprise. Like, I kind of expected maybe like he might get up and go somewhere. 1, I definitely wouldn't expect it Arkansas. And then 2, I didn't expect it to be like not with I thought Kentucky was going to publicly fire him or something for him to go do something like that.
They probably didn't want to fire him, honestly. Essentially, you look at it, the whole situation, they probably did ask him to leave in a way. But at the same time, they released a statement a few weeks ago, or whenever, I think Kentucky off that he's coming back.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I don't know what the whole deal was. Apparently, he had a clause, in his contract to where, he could still negotiate with other teams.
Really?
Which is why he negotiated with, Arkansas, and I'm pretty sure he negotiated with some other teams. But what
are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on him leaving? Do you think, one, will affect next year's team, and then two, do you think those recruiting classes he was bringing in was more so Cal getting them to come there, or it was just the fact that it was Kentucky?
Bro, all right. First of all, as a Kentucky fan, I'm not gonna say I'm necessarily happy to see him leave, but I feel like it was kind of time for him to go. Mm-hmm. Just what we've done as a program the past 4 or 5 years, at least in my time there, hasn't been much of anything. Obviously COVID happened when there was no tournament. Then we missed the tournament the following year. Then we lost in the first round, second round, and then first round again.
But there was a span from 2011 to 2015 where he made 4 out of 5 Final Fours.
Let me ask you something. How long ago was 2015? 9 years ago, bro.
The last 15 years in sports talk, that's kind of relevant. The last 15 years.
Yeah, but we talking about, he was there for 15 years, and we talking about his not last success, but most of his success was about 7 to 10 years ago. At some point, it's just time to move on.
Team went to what? The Final Four. It might have been around the last one he had.
Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox went to the Elite Eight when Carolina won. But that was probably the last year that Kentucky either did something, at least had a chance to do something. So,
right.
But like I said, I feel like it was time for him to go. I feel like a lot of fans are happy to see him leave. I am kind of happy to see him leave just because I think it's time for a fresh start. No animosity towards him necessarily. I cap.
That's gonna be a lot of hate when he gets to play Kentucky.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have I'm not I hate Cal now, but it is very shicey that he went to Arkansas, bro. Another SEC teams,
I feel like
they play in Lex this year.
It's gonna be really interesting.
They play in Lex next season later this year. So it's definitely gonna be rocking. He's probably gonna there's gonna be a lot of boos, but also a lot of cheers because I'm pretty sure the older fans definitely appreciate Cal more than people in my generation do at least. So it's gonna be mixed emotions for sure. As far as the recruits. That was definitely, in my opinion, a Cal thing. There's one people can claim Cal is a bad coach or he doesn't coach well enough, blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. What you can't argue with Cal is that he recruits very, very well. All the players he sent from college to the NBA,
he's had 8 number 1 recruiting classes, 7 number 2s, and the one year it wasn't 1 or 2, it was still top 5.
And he sent 35 plus players to the NBA, and a lot of them ended up being really like I said, AD, Jamal Murray, De'Aaron Fox, Cat, Devin Booker, Shea. Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quick. The list could go on. We could go on, but I think our class that was supposed to be coming in is definitely going to be gone. I don't know if they're all going to go to Arkansas. If they do, that's kind of scary. But I think definitely a decent amount of them will go. Whatever guard we were supposed to get, I think who plays in New York, I can remember his name. He's probably going to go with Cal.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think most people, even people who are at Kentucky now, I don't see them necessarily transferring to Arkansas, but Big Z, he's definitely transferring somewhere.
Bradshaw already left.
Obviously Robin Reed are probably going. De'Aaron's, he's in the portal, yeah. Robin Reed are obviously either more than likely going to the NBA draft.
So DJ and Justin are just going to test out the draft now at this point.
Justin definitely is going to the draft. In my opinion, DJ should come back, not to Kentucky necessarily, but maybe somewhere else.
But knowing that he's going to transfer now, he might as well just put his name in the draft and the portal.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, like Bronny James did basically. But it's gonna be a whole new look for Kentucky. I don't know who we're gonna hire as a head coach.
Who would you like to see in that role? I got a few names down here that I saw pop up. Well, before you get started, there's 2 people that already came out publicly and pretty much said they're not doing it.
They're not doing it, yeah. I saw.
And that was probably the 2 ones that you wanted the most, honestly.
Yeah.
Hurley and Nate Oates both shot that down pretty quickly. So
Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, there was reports of saying that Cal was supposed to be coming back and now he's gone. So, but at the same time, I've told you this yesterday when we were talking about it. I don't think Dan Hurley would come to Kentucky anyways. Yes, money does talk, don't get me wrong, But just being a coach, back-to-back national champions, like
you got a chance to start a dynasty and remember forever there.
Yeah,
so.
And he's like relatively young. I'm pretty sure.
His family's from Jersey Shore area, so like they like it being close to home and stuff like that too.
Yeah, and like I don't know, I don't see why a coach would win win alone is one thing, but winning back-to-back and then leaving that don't make sense to me. Nate Oates would be cool.
He has an $18 million buyout too.
18
mil because he just re-signed with them, so he's signed through 2030.
He can stay there. I'm not because Cal was making 8.5. He told me we gotta pay him 18 mil plus pay him like his salary. I mean, the Kentucky Boosters could get it done. Don't get me wrong.
I saw something. Seth Greenberg was saying they were going to be willing to pay Hurley $9 million. So.
Yeah, so. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who they're going to even interview, let alone end up hiring.
I mean, here are some names that I've seen come up. Mark Pope, who's the coach at BYU.
Okay.
Sean Miller, coach at Xavier, coached at Arizona for a little bit.
Okay.
Rick Pitino used to be there a long time ago.
Bro.
Didn't really end on the best.
I'm sorry. Don't bring Rick
cases.
back. Don't bring Rick back. I'm sorry.
Chris Beard, coaches at Ole Miss, coached at Texas, but obviously had some legal issues.
Yeah.
And then the last two, Scott Drew, coaches at Baylor right now. He's at the top of the list. And then Billy Donovan, coach of the Bulls, and was also the coach of that Florida team that went back-to-back. So those are the
Should
top
be interesting.
ones.
I wouldn't be necessarily like too mad at a lot of those. Like the BYU coach, he's pretty good.
No, don't bring him in, bro.
I mean,
I think you gotta go Chris Beard, Scott Drew, or Billy Donovan.
I mean, those names definitely sound nice.
One of those three, please.
But what do you think Kentucky would interview like kind of do what the Hornets are doing, is like interview a woman for their head coaching job?
Don't bring in Dawn.
I didn't say Dawn, but I'm saying
who are you gonna bring in, bro?
I don't know. There could be another G League coach out there.
I wouldn't mess around with it, bro. I mean, I'm not saying that we won't get there one day to where there are more women's head coaches, but I just wouldn't mess around with being the first one at a school that size of Kentucky.
Understandable.
Because if it backfires, like the hate you're gonna get is gonna be way larger than the flowers you would get if it worked. So
facts. I agree. But it's going. Me personally, I think we should hire our assistant coach. I can't remember his name, but there's a.
Why not bring Kenny Payne back? I'm playing, bro. You don't even gotta answer that.
Dude, see, that's like Rick Pitino level, bro. Like it's just, especially after what Rick Pitino said about his team this year. Sure. Like, come on, bro. I don't want that to be my coach. Like, no, I'm sorry. Like what he did before, like kudos, thank you, but. I mean, no, not anymore. But I am interested to see who they're going to bring in. I joked around with you. I was like, bro, Kentucky would do something like bring in Doc Rivers.
That man will never coach again. He is 15-16 since being hired as the Bucks head coach. Bro.
That's bad, bro. They're falling off.
15-16. They were 31-13 when they fired Adrian Griffin, bro. Like, that's ridiculous.
Insane.
Biggest front office flop I've ever seen, maybe.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Them cats definitely got to do something. And I will say this, though. Although, just kind of shifting a little bit, like kind of the football, just real quick. I know Coach Stoops has had a little success or some success at Kentucky as a head coach. Mm-hmm. But with Cal being fired, that is kind of showing me like, all right, Stoops might have to do a little more than just, make a Belk Bowl or make the Gator Bowl.
What do you feel like the most likely of these three scenarios are? Would it be for Alabama, and this time with Saban being gone, new coach coming, just made their first Final Four since maybe ever? Was it ever? Mm-hmm. It does. What's more likely? Alabama to flip to being a basketball school, Kentucky to flip to being a football school, or Clemson to flip to being a basketball school?
What's more likely?
Out of those three.
I'm going to go ahead and say Alabama being a basketball school. I say that because... One, obviously Nick Saban, like him leaving, that's probably arguably the greatest football coach of all time.
There's going to be a drop-off in football.
There's going to be a drop-off in football. They already lost a lot of their players who were there before, either to the transfer portal or to the draft. And then on top of that, Nate Oates is, in my opinion, like he's a really good coach. He's done pretty good at Bama so far. He's made them like a really threatening team. They were number one. They were one of the one seeds last year. Yep. Made to the Final Four this year. I mean, they had a top 2 draft pick in Brandon Miller out of last year's draft. So I mean,
in the SEC, great place to grow.
Literally. So, yeah. And I mean, like it's only look like they're going to get better. I mean, Mark Sears this year, he balled out. I don't know what he's going to do as far as come back or leave or whatever. But I mean, if Nate Oates can continue to recruit players like Sears or Brandon Miller or The big man that they got, I can't remember his name either, but he be dominating the paint as well. Basketball in Bama is definitely on the rise. As far as Clemson and Kentucky, I don't think Kentucky football will get any better necessarily. Not much better than to be considered a football school.
Okay.
I think the tradition of basketball in Kentucky is just too strong. We had 7 national championships before Cal got there. Cal did a lot for us as far as
But at the same time, I saw them talking about this morning on one of the shows I was watching. Rupp won his in the 50s. If you really look at it, Pitino won 1. I think a coach in between there won 1, then Cal won 1. So it's not like a Duke or a Carolina or a UConn where you guys have 4 or 5 in the last 25 years, or even Kansas has, I think, 2 in the last 25 years. Yeah. It's 1 every 15, 20 years they win 1.
True.
So it's how much are they really staying in that conversation of being the dominant basketball program?
They definitely gotta do a lot more because, like you said, Carolina's made 2 championships in the past, really 3 in the past decade. If you really want to take it back that far, Duke has made their number. I think they made at least 2, maybe.
2, and then they went to the Final Four. Coach K's last year.
Yeah, Kansas is obviously Kansas. They've had their little bit of downfalls, but still, Kentucky definitely gotta get back to because kind of how they used to be. The 50s, 60s.
They're better than UCLA.
Yeah,
their dropouts are not UCLA.
And we still I guess what keeps Kentucky relevant outside of the championships is the players that they have and that they send to the league.
That's
so
that mainly was Cal thing. All those Kentucky guys that are I'm loyal to Big Blue Nation have come out and been nah, I'm a Cal guy. Devin Booker said he's a Cal guy.
Of course. But like I said, the Kentucky fan base, the boosters and everything, they're going to be willing to throw whatever money that UK needs to hire whatever coach that they need to be successful and also get the players that they want in order to be successful or back at the top again. I have no doubt that Kentucky boosters will literally give them a blank check and be bro, however much you want in order for us to be one of the top dogs again. So
well, that's what needs to be done for sure. With the Masters coming up this week, I want to ask you, what are the greatest sporting events in your opinion?
Greatest sporting events. We talking about watching, going to? Because I saw the thing you said of what the Masters serve, what they serve at the Masters. I'm sorry,
$2-3, bro.
I ain't never in my life been to a professional sporting event where there was things on the menu, items on the menu between $2 to $6, sandwiches.
I could be out there all day eating perfectly fine.
Literally, they got sandwiches for $3, $4, $5. They got snacks, chips, cookies, hot dogs.
The most expensive thing I saw was beer for $6. Wine was $5.
I don't know how they're probably because the ticket price is so high that they can lower the drink prices and food price and everything.
Also so many people are probably going there.
No, facts.
They don't really have to
facts.
Worry about it.
And it's a 4-day event, so the amount of people there
really
for
all
4
week.
days.
People are out there watching them right now.
No, facts.
Practice rounds, all that.
As far as the greatest sporting event, me personally, bro. I'm a football fan, bro. Big as the what? It's the Super Bowl in my opinion. I don't think there's a day, one day where everybody, at least in the United States, it could be around the world, but at least in the United States, where everybody almost stops what they're doing and sits down and watches the Super Bowl. It could be your team. It could be not your team. You could be there to watch the halftime show. It doesn't matter. Everybody is sitting there watching the Super Bowl for whatever reason. So,
yeah, I think the Super Bowl is definitely up there for sure.
But also
especially just an individual event, you have to say the Super Bowl.
And a lot of other events like March Madness, that's a 3-week event.
Yeah, so if you do it like that, have things like the Tour de France is a 3-week bike race, or Wimbledon, just the whole tennis event and stuff.
Yeah, or even the World Cup is
World Cup 3-4 weeks. The Olympics, I have that on here.
The ones that are spread out in multiple days.
It's hard to compete with those.
Yeah, facts. But I like how JC said a couple weeks ago when the tournament first started. Those first 4 days of the tournament, the first 2 rounds are electric, bro.
Unmatched. Basketball all day, every day, every hour of the day.
You got upsets. You got great shots, great plays, great games. It's
definitely can't beat opening weekend of the NCAA tournament.
It's a lot, man. It's tough. So,
that would be pretty cool if they figure out a way to do that for football. I don't
care. It would be so many games.
I don't care. Get it done.
Well,
they could just play every weekend though, and it would be lit.
Every weekend would be lit.
That's what I'm saying.
Every weekend would be lit.
great games all
But
weekend.
like, I mean, you know, with the new playoff format, I don't know exactly how the games are going to be played out or what dates. But I mean, you could have something similar to that, you know, with the first. Like, I think it's 12 teams. So the top
12 teams.
Yeah. So
First top 4 get a bye. Something like that.
So I mean, you know, we'll see something similar to it, but I don't think as far as meeting the energy of the March Madness tournament, like. I don't think they'll be able to compete with that for real. But it's gonna be a good playoff system for sure.
You know, it's gonna be a great playoff system. That's all we got for this episode. And appreciate you guys again for the support. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing. We'll leave the link to go to our Instagram page, all the social media pages. So until next time, peace out, FGP.